Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee, and welcome back to the FPL Punk YouTube channel, where we try to dominate FPL one game week at a time. So today I will discuss my current team selection for game week 10, my transfer strategy moving forward, and who I will captain in game week 10. If you enjoy FPL, please subscribe to the channel down below and drop a comment on who you think will score the most points in game week 10. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Be strong.
Right, mates, before we get started, in the bottom right hand corner, I've got some team information. My rank has gone up to about 500k. We're midway through game week 9 so far, so that might alter ever so slightly. My team value is shocking at 100.8 million. I've made some bad decisions and took some loss on some certain players, and I've got nothing in the bank with 1-3 transfer. Last week, I went Saka to Salah, Havertz to Chris Wood, and then I took Leif Davis down to Vandenberg from Brentford, which has left me nothing in the bank. So the goalkeeper and the defence for game week 10, I'm going to stick with Flecken in goal. Although he's got Fulham away, my alternative is Verbruggen away to Liverpool. So I'm going to go with Flecken for this one. They've not kept a clean sheet so far, but I am hopeful moving forward that they can potentially keep some clean sheets in there. So they've got Fulham in game week 10, Bournemouth in game week 11, then Everton, followed by Leicester as well. So they've got a nice little run of games where he could potentially play in all of those as well. My defence, I'm sticking with the double Liverpool defence. I did consider taking Robertson down somebody else, like maybe even going sideways, someone like a Gvardiol last week, and maybe taking a hit for that, which I decided not to do in the end. I still like the Liverpool boys as assets, where they've got a couple good games between now and that Man City game, with Brighton at home in game week 10, Villa at home in 11, and then Southampton away, followed by Man City and Newcastle. But even after the Newcastle game, they've got a couple good games after that as well. So we all know what Trent and Robertson can do from an attacking point of view. Trent's not been as attacking as I thought he would be. Hopefully that can improve against the likes of Brighton, Villa, and Southampton, where he might get some attacking returns and keep up those and keep up the great clean sheet record that they've got so far. Moving on to Rico Lewis, 4.8 million defender for Man City. His ownership's gone up to about 15% so far. And they've got a pretty tough run coming up soon. So whether you want to consider selling like a Rico Lewis or Gvardiol, that's the reason why I didn't go for Gvardiol last week, because they've got some tough games coming up. But the thing is, they're a good team. They will keep clean sheets in games that you don't expect. You've got Bournemouth away in game week 10, followed by Brighton away, Spurs, Liverpool, and Forest after that as well. So someone like Lewis, for me, considering his price point, is very much kind of just a hold, just kind of keep. In terms of the benching decisions, I've gone Vandenberg over Anderson in terms of the benching order, and that's because I've got a Brentford goalkeeper, and I wanted to kind of hedge my kind of bets this way and go for a Brentford defender as opposed to a Fulham defender. That's the reason why I've gone for that in terms of order. And I've still got João Pedro that I bought in like game week 4, and he's injured. He's probably not going to play, but kind of is what it is. But that's my goalkeeper and my defense. I'm pretty happy with it for this game week, as long as we know Rico Lewis is going to play. If not, Vandenberg is going to come in and just slot in there very, very nicely. Let's take a look at the midfield. First up in the midfield, we've got Cole Palmer from Chelsea, 10.9 million. It's gone up to 54.5% owned so far. Got Man United away in game week 10, followed by Arsenal, but then Chelsea have got a great run of games, about 5 or 6 games after that, including Leicester, Villa, and Southampton at that as well. So he's very much kind of keep and kind of wait and see in terms of that. I think if you've not got Palmer, then you're probably gonna not buy him for the next couple of game weeks and probably look to buy him for that Leicester game. Bruno Fernandes, I've had him for quite a long time now. His price has dropped from about 8.5 to 8.2. So I have lost value in him. 6.7% owned so far. I just love Bruno and I love Man United. So this is probably coming from a bias point of view. He's not performed particularly well, but I'm hoping with Højlund being back that they might be able to attack a little bit better. They've got Chelsea at home in game week 10, followed by Leicester, Ipswich, and Everton, which is a nice little run of 3 in the middle there. So Fernandes is very much a keep for me. And up until the Arsenal game, I'm just going to kind of see how he does. I don't expect a lot from him. He's not been great from an attacking point of view. So if he can get anything in that stretch of games, I feel like he's probably overdue something. He's probably overdue like a penalty in there as well. So just kind of hope for the best and kind of see what he can do. But just going to back my Man United boys and just kind of stick with it and just keep up the bias. Why not? And then we've got Mo Salah. I brought Salah in last week. They're playing Arsenal this week. And then they're going to play Brighton in game week 10, followed by Aston Villa and Southampton. I like Salah in almost any game, like even the Man City game at home there and Newcastle away. Like I think he's so good and he's so devastating in terms of his attacking ability from both a goal scoring and creativity point of view that I don't really mind in it. I don't mind him in any game. I can play him in any single game, and he's a strong captain option for me for game week 10. Brian Mbeumo, man of the hour, absolute beast. Captained him last week for his double goals against Ipswich, which has just worked out massively in my favour. For someone that doesn't own Haaland, that was just a massive thing for me. 7.7 million Brentford midfielder, 35.4% owned. Fulham away, a great game from an attacking point of view. I think Mbeumo will do well in this game, followed by Bournemouth, Everton and Leicester. Great games once again. If you don't own Mbeumo, I'd probably look to think about bringing him in somehow. Like his ownership is still low, around 35%. Like when you've got the likes of Salah, who's 39% and 12.6% owned. Palmer, 54.5% owned, is 10.9 million. Mbeumo's so much cheaper than both of those, and his output is just comparable so far. So whilst he's in form and he's got some good games, I'd probably look at trying to buy him. I think if you've got someone like a Heung-min Son and you're not sure about him and you don't know if he's going to be fit, and you've got no other kind of fires in your team and you don't really know what to do with transfers, like if you've got transfer spare, I think coming down to Mbeumo is just such a sensible thing to do. And last but not least, we've got Eberechi Eze, who's just been an absolute nightmare for me. Like I just don't understand how a player can be so good and just not have any kind of attacking output. I watched him a couple of weeks ago, and he just doesn't even look like he wants to be there right now. I don't know if something's clicking, if he's not fit, but something's not right. But he's just got some good games coming up. Like, he's such a hard sell because we all know what he can do and we all know how good he can be. So with Wolves away in game week 10, followed by Fulham at home, I'm just going to see how he does for these couple of games, and then I might reassess when it gets to the Villa and Newcastle games. But then he's got Ipswich after that, so do you want to kind of keep him a bit more like medium to long term? If I was to sell him, I might just come right down to the likes of Rodgers. Like, I know he got taken off early, but kind of saving that money might do me some good. I might even double up on the Man United midfielders and go for some like a Garnacho or Rashford, who I think have both looked pretty good so far. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my midfielders for game week 10 and for this week, and that's mainly down to the likes of Salah and Palmer, who I think are both strong captaincy options. Let's take a look at the forwards. Moving on to the forwards, and we've obviously got no Haaland, so I've got Solanke and Chris Wood up front. Spurs forward Solanke, 7.7 million, 13.1% owned. They've got some good games coming up. I don't like what Solanke is kind of doing, and tactically I don't like him as at number 9. He's dropping quite deep. A few people have mentioned it, and everyone's kind of seen it, where he's doing this kind of a bit of Firmino role at Liverpool, where Mane and Salah are the attacking ones, and he drops deep into number 10. Almost dropping into midfield, and Solanke is very much doing that. But I think for his price point, he's pretty good. And kind of like my long-term plan is maybe to think about someone like a Nicholas Jackson or an Alexander Isak, and moving some money around and looking to those around game week 12 to game week 13, somewhere around that region. So Solanke is probably a keep for me right now. Like, the important thing for me right now is trying to build up my free transfers. I'm probably going to roll this week if nothing kind of crops up and I don't have to make any kind of emergency transfers. I think the main aim for me right now is to start building up those free transfers, and that starts with not making any transfers in the forward line. So even though I probably want to do it with Solanke, I think keeping him for now, seeing how he does for the next couple of weeks with Villa and Ipswich. Ipswich is a great game, so you never know. And then maybe reassess around Man City, Fulham, Bournemouth, and just kind of see how he does around that time, and maybe try and get in somebody like a Nicholas Jackson. Chris Wood, another man of the hour, alongside Mbeumo. I brought him in last week for Havertz, and he just paid dividends straight away and came in with a cheeky double. Got absolutely gifted one of the goals where keeper plays it long, Sells plays it long, and Wout Faes just kind of does this terrible backwards header, looping header thing. Chris Wood, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, just dinks over with his head and kind of lobs the keeper with a header. Nice little cheeky finish. I just think he's such a great option. And for his price point of 6.4 million, Nottingham Forest are playing really well as well. So I think they're great from a defensive point of view, and they're getting Chris Wood as involved as he's probably ever been. And he's got some good games coming up as well. He's got West Ham at home, followed by Newcastle at home. I don't mind the Newcastle at home game. This is an ex-player who I think will want to get some revenge on them. He scored a hat-trick against them last season, if I remember right. Arsenal away, yeah, not great, but then it's followed by Ipswich, and then maybe we can reassess on that Manchester City away game there instead, and see who else we can start to think about bringing in around that period. But relatively happy with my forward line, particularly for this week, and for the next couple of weeks, I'm pretty happy with it. So that kind of lends itself that I am going to start building up some free transfers. Let's take a look at some captaincy options. So for my particular team, it's between Mo Salah and Cole Palmer for captaincy in game week 10. I've got some stats kind and below to kind of prove my point of the reason why I've chosen the player who I think is better for my team to be captain. Some of his predicted points, FPL Review has predicted Mo Salah to get 7.2 points as opposed to Cole Palmer's 5.7. Fantasy Football Hub is predicting Mo Salah to get 8.1 points as opposed to Cole Palmer's 7. I think Salah's got the better fixture with Brighton at home as opposed to Man United away. But you do need to keep in mind that Cole Palmer has got a decent record against Manchester United, particularly his hat-trick last season where they beat us 4-3 and scored a last-minute goal. But Mo Salah's got a great record against Brighton as well with 9 goals and 6 assists in 14 games. And the reason why I'm going to pick Salah as my captain is because the fact that he's playing at home. I know Brighton are playing well this season, but I think Salah at home is just a different beast. If Salah was away, it'd be a lot closer between the two players, and I'd probably pick Palmer in that case if they was both away. But the fact Mo Salah's at home up against Brighton, I'm going to go Mo Salah for this captaincy option game week 10 all day long. Right, mates, that's it for today's video where we looked at my early team selection and mini game week 10 preview. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment down below who you think will score the most points in game week 10. Thanks for watching, peace and love.